Om Sadashivasamārambhām Shankarācārya-madhyamām Asmadācārya-paryantāം Vande Guru-paramparām. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. परम्परस्या प्रकृतेरनादिम् एकं निविष्टं बहुधा गुहासु सर्वालयं सर्वचराचरस्थं त्वामेव विष्णुं शरणं प्रपद्ये. मनसोऽहंकार विमूर्छितस्य चैतन्य बोधितस्येह पुरुषाभिमान सुख दुःख भावना भवति मूढ़स्य कर्ता भोक्ता द्रष्टास्मि कर्मणाम् उत्तमादीनाम् इति तत्स्वभाव विमलः अभिमन्यते सर्वगोप्यात्मा. So this is what we were seeing last time, that who is the one who undergoes samsara and who seeks this knowledge. Kaha anubhavati shubha shubha paladam, like that the Shishya question. So the answer for that is what? There is only one Chaitanyam. Brahman alone is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, like that the Vedanta is revealing. So that Brahman alone created this entire world. It is the only cause. It is the cause of this entire creation. That's how it is presented also in the Vedanta. It not only created this world, but it entered it, like that also Shruti is there. Pravesha Shruti we say. Sa iha pravishtaha tat srishtva tadeva anupravishate anena jivena atmana anupravishya. Like this, there are many in each and every Upanishad. These vakyas are all there, called Anupravesha Shruti. So what is the meaning of this Anupravesha? Finally, we say that this Brahman is available. Correct? Because entry is not possible for Brahman because it is all pervasive. Similarly, reflection also is not really possible for something which is all pervasive. Correct? Reflection also assumes that the reflected is somewhat limited. Or one kind of answer they give, that space is also reflected, even though space is Vibhu or unlimited, and even the whatever the reflecting medium itself is in space, but it is still able to reflect space, like that also you can say. But even there, if you start stretching it, the analogy will not fit. So the idea is that we should not stretch the analogies too much. When the Veda is revealing as a pramana, you have to take it. The analogy is only for you to assimilate, but you cannot keep stretching it. And anyway, the drishtanta and darshtantika cannot be same in all respects, correct? Then it is no drishtanta darshtanta. Drishtanta means some similarity will be there. So in other areas, it will be different only. So you have to understand it as it is. The idea here is that it is as though entry, as though reflection and all that. The as though is very important. Pratibhimbam iva only, or abhasa iva, or pravesha iva, because the idea of all this is to say that it is available, because the pratibimba is available wherever it is reflecting. Or a person, if he enters a room, he is available there. So the availability, correct, is the important thing. So in the Bhashya, Shankaracharya uses the word upalabdhisthanam. So the pravesha means it is upalabdhisthanam. It is available there. How it is available? As I. Correct? That is what here it is said. Ahankara vimurchitasya chaitanya bodhitasya means this being lighted up by the consciousness. It is available as I in the mind only. Correct? In the buddhi. Here buddhi means we have to take it as mind means buddhi. Manasaha ahankara vimurchitasya means it is available as I in your own mind, in your own buddhi. And the one who takes this identification of I with reference to the body mind sense complex is the Purusha. Then he has an Abhimana with reference to that, and then Dukkha, Sukha, everything starts from there because, and Mudhasya also. So, Manasaha, Mudhasya, Ahankara Vimurchitasya, Chaitanya Bodhitasya, Iha, Purusha Abhimana, Sukha Dukkha Bhavana Bhavati. That is the sentence here. So, here means in this world, in this Vyavahara, which is Naisargika. When did it start? How did it start and all? We cannot really say. It is beginningless really. But the Sukha Dukkha Bhavana is there due to delusion, Mudha, ignorance only. Mudasya here means basically it is Avidyaya. For the one who is an Avidyavan only, this problem is there. And once you have this Aham Kara, correct? Aham iti, identification with something which is not really Atma. Okay. Once you have this identification, then you think you are a Karta, Bhokta, and also with reference to each and every sense organ and organs of action also, you identify with those actions, correct? I am a seer, I am a doer, I am a runner, walker. All these things come, Karta, Bhokta, Drashta, Asmi. And also I do Uttama Karma, I do Vaidika Karma. Also I do lot of Papa Karma, Nishiddha Karma also I do. So in this manner, you take yourself as Karta Bhokta, that is Samsari. But even though you are Swabhava Vimalaha, he says. So, Karmanam Uttamadinam Atma Manyante, iti Manyante, okay, iti Atma Manyante or Abhimanyante, that is fine. So, the Atma takes itself as Karta Bhokta, even though it is really Paramatma. It is all pervasive, Sarvagaha, and by its very nature, it is not connected to any of these things. It is Asangaha, therefore, only it is Vimalaha. It doesn't have any taint of all these upadhis, really speaking. But that is the funny thing about an upadhi, correct? There is no real connection. But without any real connection, only the upadhi dharma appears as though in the upahita, correct? That which is conditioned gets the qualities of the conditioning factors, even though there is no connection between the conditioning factor, which is called upadhi in Sanskritam, and the upahita means that which is conditioned. Now the examples for that will be now given. That's what we are going to see. Okay. So the next verse we will see. नानाविधवर्णानां वर्णं धत्ते यतामलस्फटिकः तद्वदुपाधेर्गुणभावितस्य भावं विभुर्धत्ते. So नानाविधवर्णानां वर्णं धत्ते यथा amalaha sphatikaha. So sphatikaha here is the upahita, that which is conditioned. Spatika mani and all we have all seen, spatika linga. So spatika is something which is transparent. Okay, all of you know that. It is like a transparent gem or whatever. It is like a transparent stone maybe. The spatika linga in our tradition is used to teach you a certain tattva. What is that tattva? The same thing can be both with form and without form. Correct? Patika still has a certain form. Linga is there, you can do Abhisheka and all that. But in one way, if you look at it, you can see through it. Correct? That means it is as though it is not there. So it is Rupa, Arupa. Both Tattva is revealed to you by this Patika Linga. Linga itself means an indication or a sign or a symbol. Correct? So the Spatika Linga is a symbol to represent that Ishvara is both Nirguna and Saguna. There is only one Vastu which appears as Saguna. But in reality, it is Nirguna. That is the idea we have to understand from this Patika. But if you keep some different kind of flowers, you do puja to your Spatika Linga. We do here, we have a Spatika Linga also in our temple nowadays. Every day we do puja. Then I keep a red hibiscus flower near the Spatika Linga for whatever Alankarartham. To decorate during my puja, I keep a red flower. Then what happens? You look at it from one angle, it looks like the lingam itself is red now. Correct? Nana vidha varnanam varnam dhatte. So it takes upon itself different colors. Nana vidha varnanam. Different types of colors from the ones which are colored like that. Nana vidha varnanam means the objects which are colored in different colors. Correct? Their varna, it takes to itself. Dhatte. Adhatte. Also you can say. Although Spatika by itself doesn't have any color, it is Amalaha, means it is not tainted by any of those colors. It is untainted. But if you look at it, then suddenly it looks like it is colored, even though it is not really colored. So that is what is called an Upadhi. The flower here becomes an Upadhi. Upasamipe Tishtan Swam Dharmam Adhatte. Like that you can say. Or Dhatte. Means it something which is near to something else and gives its own qualities to the others. That is what is called Upadhi. Technically, if you define it, Upa means Samipa. So something which is there nearby. So even here, Spatika is there. Near the Spatika is the flower, colored flower. And then what happens? The colored flower gives its color to the Spatika. Not really, but as though it appears as though it has given its color. Okay. Similarly, here what? This is the Drishtanta. Now, what is the Darshtantika? Means that what is being revealed through this example or analogy is what Tadvat, like even like this only what? Upadehe Guna Bhavitasya Bhavam Vibhurdhatte. Vibhuhu. Here is Vibhu is Atma again. Vibhu means again all pervasive Atma. The Atma which is really all pervasive, like space. But then what? Even the space is conditioned by a part, correct? Technically speaking, part is there in space. But we think that space is in part. That is the problem, in fact, really. That is samsari. So if you think space is in part, then you are a samsari because the space now got conditioned by the part. There is a part space, 5 liters only. There is another part which is 10 liters. You have all kinds of comparison. And so my Guruji used to do that. In fact, he used to bring 2 parts to our class. And then he will have a complete conversation between these 2 parts to show how samsaritvam is there. Because one part gets complex, that I am only 5 liters, another is 10 liter, it is very big. All these kinds of things one can have. If the part is self-conscious, it becomes a samsari. Because the identification is only with reference to the conditioned, even though it is not really conditioned. Okay, that is the beauty here. So Tadvad upadehe. Here, what is the upadi? Guna bhavitasya bhavam. Means guna bhavitasya means what? Here, trigunas are there. Correct? We are always talking about prakriti from the beginning. And prakriti itself is trigunatmika, we say. So the 3 gunas only have created all the upadi. If you take in the case of an individual person, the upadi is the body mind sense complex. The physical body is the tamas aspect of the panchabhutas. Only has become the physical body. The rajas aspect of the pancha mahabhutas have become the prana, etc., karmendriya. And the the sattva aspect has become mind and all the sense organs. So like this, the trigunas only have become the upadhi for the individual person. And even though Atma is vibhuhu, guna bhavitasya bhavam means what? All this, the upadhi, this body mind sense complex, which is produced by these gunas, 3 gunas, that upadhis bhava means dharma here, qualities you take on yourself because you place your eye on that. Okay, as soon as you have self-identification with the body, which is really a seen object, correct? Whatever I see really cannot be I, but still one takes whatever is an object of one's cognition as I, and then you undergo suffering. Then once you do that, then you become karta, bhokta, sukha, dukkha, everything will come. So this is one analogy. What is the next analogy? Adarshe malarahite yadvadrupam vichinvate lokaha आलोकयति तथात्मा विशुद्ध बुद्धौ स्वात्मानं स्वम आत्मानं विशुद्ध बुद्धौ swam atmanam. Okay, here these people have put a note here because in some editions this verse is missing, but it is there in the Abhinava Gupta's rendering of Paramaartha Saara also, and it is there in some manuscripts. I think in some manuscripts it is missing. In fact, in the commentary also this verse is not there. Whoever wrote the commentary, the Raghavananda, I think, he has not, in his manuscript, this is not there, but still we will take it. So, Adarshe Malarahite. So, in the mirror, which is not having any dirt and all that, correct? If the mirror is completely covered with dirt, it cannot reflect anything. But a clean, pure mirror, in that only you have to see your face, correct? If you want to see your eyes, let us say, can you see your eyes? Eyes cannot see itself because it cannot be both the subject and object. It is the one which is seeing, correct? It is the seer. It being the seer, it cannot be the seen. Then how do I see my own eyes? Means only way is you have to have a mirror. Only the reflection you can see. Similarly, this Atma is eternally the subject. In fact, it can never be objectified. That is the subtlety. This Atma Jnanam, why it is different from all other Jnanam, why it is in some way subtle and difficult to get, means because you have to now know something which cannot be objectified. But all other knowledge in your life you have known by objectifying only, correct? Everything you are either objectifying through your sense organs, or even if you do inference and conceptually you understand something that is in your mind, you have objectified it. So without objectification, you have not known anything. And whatever is known to you without objectification, which is yourself, you have taken that for granted, in fact. You have not done any vichara with reference to that. That is where the entire problem is. So Atma Vichara is purely separating out Atma and Anatma and appreciating the Atma as it is without objectifying. Understand that. You cannot objectify Atma and you need not objectify. That is the best part. Because Atma is Swaprakasha. But even then, how is it known that it is consciousness and all that? Means because it appears conscious in your mind. Like even your eye appears in the mirror, correct? The only way to know the eye is in the buddhi. Buddhi is the pure mirror where this Atma Abhasa is available there. Correct? But again, this Abhasa and all, we should not take it very seriously. It is like a reflection again. Always keep that in mind. Or it manifests, we have to say. This Atma Chaitanyam manifests in the Buddhi because it is the Sattva Guna Pradhana Upadhi. There it manifests as I also. So that is how we know this Atma. Finally, in fact, once you understand your very nature, true nature, even the word I is not required. Understand that. Atma itself is only a word which is indicating I as opposed to everything else. But finally, whatever this I, it is everything in fact. And it cannot be objectified. And it is as it is. Like even in your sleep, even the I thought is not there. Correct? You don't require the I thought to be I. I is always there, whether there is I thought or not, whether you think about I as I It's not required really, correct? I am there always. I am the invariable in each and every cognition. But even when cognition is not there, also I am there. That is the beauty of I. I am the unchanging, invariable reality in whom space-time appears, actually. Understand that. You are not in space-time. Space-time is in you. That is the vision. So once you appreciate that, then you are as you are. But till then, how do I know this Chaitanya Atma is there? Means it is available as I in the Buddhi. Like even your eyes, the eye, this I, EYEI is available in the mirror to see. Like that, this Atma is available in the Buddhi as I to know. So Adarshe Malarahite Yadvat Rupam Vichinvate Loka. So the Lokaha, if you want, they want to see their eyes, where do they go and look? Means they look in the mirror. You cannot tell him, okay, no, some modern Vedantins say, if you want to know Atma, why are you looking outside into your books, into the Vedanta and all that? Don't study all that. Turn inside and look inside and you will find Atma. It is like telling the guy who wants to see his eyes, why are you looking into the mirror? Turn your eyes and look at your eyes. How much ever you turn, eyes cannot see the eye, correct? You have to look outside only. But in looking outside, you can see your eye. Like that, to know the Atma, Shastra alone is the Darpana. That's why the Shastra is called Shastra Darpana, in fact. Shastra is the mirror. And what kind of mirror it is? It is word mirror. It is a mirror made up of words. The Guru's words reveal yourself to yourself. In fact, in that you see yourself. That's why each and every Vedanta class, you have to see yourself in the light of the words of the Guru and Shastra. That should be the main thing in a Vedanta class. Don't even take notes and all that. Don't concentrate on grammar and all that. That and all you can do later. It is not a Sanskrit class. Vedanta class means it should be a Vedanta class where the vision is appreciated. You have to see yourself in the light of the Shastra and get transformed by that. Correct? That is the main thing. It is not about collecting some facts and all that. Vedanta is not factual knowledge. Vedanta is about yourself, appreciating yourself as you are in the light of Shastra. That should be the only goal while you are doing Shravanam, while you are sitting in a class. That's how you should listen to Vedanta. It's not about saying that there are three shariras, five koshas. These things became like this and that and all that. All that facts and all is fine. You can you can know those facts. That will anyway you are listening to it so much that those facts will be there. So don't worry about it. It is about the vision. Appreciate yourself in the light of the teaching. So here also what alokayati tathatma vishuddha buddha tvam atmanam. So this atma also it finds itself, it seems, alokayati in the pure buddhi. Buddhi is the closest. That is why atma itself is called vijnana mayaha. The individual atma in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the word used for the individual atma is vijnana mayaha. Vijnana mayaha means vijnana prayaha. Vijnana here is actually buddhi. That which is as though the buddhi, correct? Means in the buddhi only consciousness we know. Normal people cannot separate out sentiency, consciousness and buddhi as two different things. That Viveka buddhi, to get that is very difficult. Like that Shankara also says in his commentary. But that is what Shastra is trying to teach you. The consciousness which is appearing in your buddhi is not really buddhis. Because buddhi also is only a upadhi. That consciousness is you. That is your reality. But it is only appear even that it is consciousness to know that the buddhi is required. Because if no buddhi is there, like in deep sleep, you cannot know. Even the idea that I am consciousness is not there in the deep sleep, correct? There is no I thought also in deep sleep. But I am there because I am able to get up. The continuity of the anubhava nobody can deny, correct? I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper. That continuity is always there. That continuity is not the waker's continuity. Understand that. That is where people make mistake. It is the continuity of Atma. Because even when the waker is not there, Atma alone is lighting up the dream world. Even when the dream world is not there, waking world is not there, nothing is there. Everything has resolved into avyakta, which we call as either Maya or Avidya. It is Maya with reference to Ishvara. With reference to the individual, it is the same thing is Avidya. Because whatever is Maya Shakti for Ishvara becomes ignorance for the individual. Because Ishvara's Maya is only deluding you, correct? Bhagavan himself says that I am with my Maya, I am deluding you. For the Mayavi, there is no avidya, correct? Mayavi knows Maya is Maya. The one who is showing you a magic show, for him there is no ignorance about whatever is appearing there. But the onlooker takes it as real, because for that person there is avidya. The same Maya also becomes avidya. That's what we have to understand. So here, even in deep sleep, when everything has become avyakta, means it is undifferentiated and unmanifest, correct? Avyakrita means undifferentiated, avyakta means unmanifest, but Atma is still there. Nothing is there to see. It is there as it is. Pashyannapi na pashyati. It has the ability to be conscious. It is always conscious, but there is nothing to be conscious of. So it is there as it is. That is your Swarupa, and that is Ananda Swarupa also, because everybody likes that, correct? There is no second thing there. There is no fear. There is no fear in sleep. There is no dukkha in sleep. It is very highly desirable. Everybody, even if you give a sleeping pill, they want to take to go to sleep, correct? That is how desirable it is. And moksha is like that. So sleep is given as a drishtanta by the Upanishad for the Darshtantika, which is moksha, which is your real Swarupa actually, Atma Swarupa. But this Atma itself, to know that it is a conscious entity, you have to look at it in the buddhi only. In the buddhi only it is available. Okay, swam atmanam vishuddha buddhau tatha atma alokayati. So this is another drishtanta. Now one more drishtanta, something similar. Gacchati gacchati salile dinakara bimbam sthite sthitim yati antahkarane gacchati gacchati atmapi tadvadiha. Gacchati gacchati salile dinakara bimbam sthite sthitim yati. That is the analogy here, drishtanta. Now here gacchati gacchati two times it comes. Here some grammar knowledge you should have, because one gacchati is gacchat, seventh case. Gacchati sati, it is called sati saptami. In Sanskritam, those who have studied Sanskritam grammar and all, you will know there is something called sati saptami. Even in English it is there, correct? So gacchati sati salile dinakara bimbam gacchati. That is how you have to understand here. Okay. So here this dinakara bimba means what? Dinakara is sun and bimba is the original, correct? But then if you look at that same dinakara as a pratibimba in the salila, in water, then what happens? When the water salile gacchati sati, when the water moves, then what? It looks like the dinakara itself is moving, correct? The sun also is moving, correct? So salile gacchati sati dinakara bimbam gacchati. When the water moves, sun also moves. Sun which is reflected there, correct? The original sun which is reflected in the mirror looks as though it is moving. If you only look at the water, then what? The water becomes calm. There is no wind. Means now sun also is there, visible. Sthite sthitim yati. So now what? Salile stite sati dinakara bimbam stitim yati. Like that we have to understand. Correct? Salile stite sati. When the salila is, the water is without any movement, okay, it rests as it is, then the reflection also is now available as it is without any movement and all that. This is one thing. In fact, this can be taken, even the salila here can be taken even as your buddhi and mind. Correct? When your mind is very agitated, this atma then becomes active and all that. When it is calm, then it is there, atma is as it is. So similarly, that's what they are now equating this salila to antakarana. Antakarane gachati, gachati. That means antakarane gachati sati, atma gachati. So here dinakara bimbam is really atma. Atma is the bimba. But the pratibimba in the mind moves, and you take the pratibimba as yourself, and you think, I am the one who is doing, I am the one who is experiencing, I am sukhi, I am dukhi. In fact, in Sanskritam, I have to say aham sukhi, aham dukhi. In English, aham becomes I am. But there is I am in Sanskritam also. I am means this. Should not get confused between Sanskritam I am and English I am. Anyway. So antakarane gachati sati, atma gachati. Also we have to add antakarane stite sati, atma stitim yati. Also you have to take tadvadiha. Similarly here also. So the atma, in reality nothing happens to the sun, correct? Sun doesn't even know that it is getting reflected really. In one way, if you look at it. So it doesn't care what is happening. Similarly, Atma is totally asanga. Whatever happens to the abhasa is abhasa, really. But that's how it is. So all karta, bhokta, all these ideas are all only due to the upadhi, which is the mind. Again, the mind, whatever consciousness is there, that alone further trickles down into the prana and body and all that also we say. Because the initial abhasa is in the buddhi only. Ahamkara is the main abhasa. From there again, the identity is there in the indriyas, prana, karmendriya and the physical body up to that. This is another analogy. So sun getting reflected in water. Then what? One more also is given, very interesting analogy. The in analogy of Rahu. So this Rahu analogy even Shankara uses in the Dakshinamurti Stotram, correct? Rahu grasta divakarendu sadrusho maya samachadana sanmatra karanopasamharanato yo bhut sushuftah puman pragaswapsamiti prabodha samaye yah pratyabhijnayate तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये. Anyway, Adi Sesha is supposed to predate Shankara, so we have to say Shankara has picked it up from Adi Sesha. So what is Adi Sesha saying here? राहुरदृश्योऽपि यथा शशिबिम्बस्तः प्रकाशते जगति सर्वगतोऽपि तथात्मा बुद्धिस्थो दृश्यतामेति. So Rahu adrishyopi, Rahuradrishyopi yatha. Correct? Rahu as a graha, correct? Again, this graha is translated as planet by some people in English, which is wrong. Because in graha we include sun, moon and all that. Sun is not a planet. Moon is not a planet. So people say 9 planets in astrology means their English is not good. Better word will be heavenly bodies we have to say. But even there is a problem. Because Rahu is not a real heavenly body. Understand that. You cannot see Rahu anywhere in the sky. At least all others you can see in the sky, correct? With naked eye only, we can see the other things. The 7 grahas are visible, including sun and moon. All are heavenly bodies, we can say. But what about Rahu Ketu? They are called Chaya Graha. That's why. They are not seen normally. You cannot see them. That's why here he is saying Rahu Adrishyaha. Rahu cannot be seen. But when do you see the Rahu? During eclipse. Correct? Because that Rahu is supposed to have covered the sun or the moon. That's how we look at it. And Rahu is only head. He covers for some time, but then it comes out. It won't be entirely covered. Okay. So it is seen as the Shashi Bimbasthaha Prakashate. That is what it is here. Yatha Shashi Bimbasthaha means on the moon, which is the Bimba, but this Rahu can be seen as a shadow there. It is covering. Correct? It covers the moon like this, but it is not something real also. Normally you cannot see it, but it is covering like shadow. Like that, Ajnana also is a covering. Understand that. That is the beauty here. Ajnanena avritam jnanam, it is said in the Gita. But it is not a real covering. It is as though a covering. It is good enough covering to give you all sorts of delusions. Once the truth is covered, then everything else is projected. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also, this covering is a very important concept we have to understand. So, naiva iha kinchid asid mrityuna eva idam avritam asid. Like that it is there in the Brihadaranyaka. Mrityuna eva idam avritam asid. By mrityu. Mrityu again there is all the nama rupa atmaka avyakta jagat is called mrityu, which is again avidya. At a samashti, avyakta is maya really. So at a samashti, maya is covering, and at the vyashti level, avidya is the covering. So everything is covered, and then the projection starts. But the covering itself is not real. If you go looking out for it, you cannot see it. That is why it is maya. Ya ma sa maya, correct? See, maya vicharam na sahate, we say. It appears to be there. But if you go with a torch light and see where it is not there. When you analyze, it vanishes. That is the maya. Okay. So Rahu adrishyopi yatha shashibimbastaha prakashate jagati. So for us, how do you know Rahu is there? During eclipse, you can see it has covered the moon as chaya, or it covers the sun also. Here Shashi is given. Similarly, what sarvagatopi tathatma buddhistaha drishyatam eti. So even though Atma is sarvagataha, like even the sun is really not covered by Rahu and all that. Understand that. Or even moonlight, normally, even when the moon is covered by Rahu, moon is still shining in the same manner. However, it is shining. But sun is a better example there. So, even though Atma is all pervasive, sarvagatopi, it is appearing as though it is there in the buddhistaha. That is the pravesha. So it is available in the buddhi, drishyatam eti also. Drishyatam means it is available for you to recognize, but not as an object. Understand that. Finally, you have to recognize yourself as you are, but it is available. How? Means it is Atma is available as the drishtehe drashtaram. If you have to go with the Upanishadic teaching, it is the seer of sight. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso manoyate vacho havacham sa upranasya pranaha chakshusha chakshuhu. So it is the ear of the ear, shrotrasya shrotram, mind of the mind, manaso manaha, vachoha vacham. It is the speech of speech, organ of speech. Pranasya prana, it is the prana of prana also. It is eye of the eye, chakshusha chakshu. So like this only you can know Atma, because you cannot objectify it. That which cannot be objectified by the mind, but that by which mind itself functions as mind, that is the Atma. Like this, beautifully, Kenopanishad explicitly it is teaching you, correct? Yan manasana manute, yena hur manomatam, tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam ididam upasate. So anything you can do upasana, means anything you can objectify and visualize, that is not Brahman. Upanishad is very clear. All that is fine. For upasana rupam, for Ishvara, Shankam, Chakram, Chaturbhujam, Bhuf Padav, Yasya Nabhi, Viyate, all that you can visualize. And Bhagavan, Brahman itself is appearing as Ishvara with all these gunas for blessing you, anugrahartham. But the anugraha should lead you finally to what? To appreciate the Atma as it is, correct? That is the greatest anugraha. What else anugraha can be there bigger than that? So finally you have to understand what Nedam Edidam Upasate. Brahman is not something which you can objectify. If you make Brahman also into one more object, it will become limited in fact. Correct? Brahman is yourself, but it drishyatam eti means it attains, it becomes something to be known, because Nyayam, like that Shastra itself says, or even in the Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan says, Nyayam yattat pravakshyami, yajñatva amritam. Correct? Yajñatva amritam. If you read, but you should not chant yajñatva mritam. That is wrong. Knowing this Brahman, you become mrita, mortal means it doesn't make sense. Correct? Yajñatva amritam. So this Nyayam Brahma, I will tell now, Bhagavan says in the Gita, that which is to be known. But the beauty is what? Or but the subtlety is what? But it cannot be known as an object. But still it has to be known. That is why in the Kenopanishad some contradictory things are all said. What is that? Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedasaha. Like that it is said. See, yasya matam tasya matam. The one who does not know it knows it. The one who says, I know it, he does not know. Like this and all Upanishad says. Some people take this and say, that means Atma can never be known. Don't study all this Shastra, etc. Shastra itself is saying Atma cannot be known. Why are you studying? It is not for even some very, very well read Panditas say that. So you cannot know this Atma and all. So sit in meditation or something like that. It's not for that. Because even in that section, after the Guru says all these things to the Shishya says, Manye Viditam. He says, I know this Brahman, I know this Atma. Manye Viditam, like that he claims, the Shishya. The Guru is telling the Shishya, the one who claims, I know, does not know. One who says, I don't know, knows. Then what does the Shishya say? Manye Viditam. Aham Manye. I know. Means what? I know that it is not an object, or I cannot know it as an object. Only if I claim that I know it as some object, then I don't know really. I don't know the Atma, Swarupa, the reality of Atma. But Atma is not something to be known as an object. It is yourself. You don't even have to objectify it. All you have to do is remove all wrong notions about this Atma. That's all the Shastra is doing. Shastra is not a pramana to establish the existence of Atma. Understand that. Shastra pramana also is negative in the sense that it only removes all wrong notions you have about yourself. That's why you are suffering. When there are no wrong notions, like in Sushupti, anyway, it is you are enjoying, correct? That is Ananda Swarupa, in fact. So Atma by itself is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Anandam Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. It is Prajnana Ghanam. It is already there, like that only. It is always like that. Just to remove the wrong notions and rest as you are. That is the whole idea. But to even know that, it has to be available in your buddhi only, correct? That's why Shastra says, Manasa eva anudrashtavyam. Neha nanasti kinchana and all that. So you have to see this in the mind alone. It is available in the mind for you to see. But even to see that, you require a certain kind of mind. Shastra and Guru Upadesha Samskrita Manaha is required. Correct? The mind which is purified, which is cooked, okay, in the juice of Shastra. The Shastra Vakya Janita Jnanam has to permeate into the mind and completely transform your vision of yourself. Self transformation has to happen. Then everything is fine. Correct? Then you are really Sarvagataha. You will know that Sarvatma, I am the Atma of everybody. That is the vision of Shastra, and that Atma is available to you for that. But still you take yourself as body, mind, sense, complex and suffer because of the same availability only. It is available and you take it in the wrong way. That is the problem. So now, up to this point, the Guru has now told you who is the sufferer, who is the samsari, who enjoys the papa punya, all that. The same Atma which is available in the body, mind, sense complex only is the sufferer. Correct? Is the samsari. It is the one which takes up another body and all that also. Okay. But what is the real Swarupa of this Atma? That he will say next, which we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद.
Om.